Superman and Lois, Season 1, Episode 10, titled Mother Where Art Thou? And this episode is a really, really good episode. Because one of the reasons it is you have a character like Morgan Edge, which for me is a character that took me a while to remember the character's name, and two, felt like a poor man Lex Luthor because, the character's on Supergirl and we can't use him, so we had to create like a Lex Luthor-esque character. And he came across as a average businessman. He's as a generic businessman, and he's creating Kryptonians and through kryptonite, all that kind of stuff. But then you add a little bit of detail, which is him being the half brother of Kal-El, aka Clark Kent, aka Superman. And because of it, and you get a sense more of his backstory and a sense of who he is as a person, understand why he is the way he is, makes him really a better character, makes him a little bit more fascinating, because what this character is essentially, like we all have seen, definitely after Injustice, ever since the game came out, plus the tie-in comic, the whole evil Superman thing. Like DC has done it several times, the boys have done it with Homelander, Angry Man with Invincible, Brightburn was a horror ultimate take of what Superman, with Clark was always bad, and all that kind of stuff. Someone make a Superman horror film and all that kind of stuff. But having like that evil self kind of facing it, because in this episode we get flashbacks of seeing Morgan Edge's origin story, and it's essentially 100% of a parallel to Superman. He crashed down to Earth. He is, and as a child. But the difference is, what if Clark wasn't welcomed with open arms? What if people were feared of him? What if they treated him like not a person, but a thing? They experimented on him because he was using his powers and all that kind of stuff, and because of it, he has a sense of negativism towards Earth and humans, and how we're not perfect, and then there's only a few of them that are actually good, and they're all evil, spiteful things. Well, you have Clark, who's very like optimism, and he's like, yes, yes, there are some bad apples, but there's still good in them, and there's still great in them, and there's always this hope in them, and all that, and it doesn't budge. Even in the end, it doesn't. Nearly at the end, it does not budge more than it does not. And you understand the pain, the optimism, because understanding the backstory of a character makes you actually care about the character, gives you a sense of the character, than just evil businessman. Even though there was a nitpick I had, because he's in chains and all that, I'm like, to quote Lois Lane from Man of Steel, you let them handcuff you, you're a Kryptonian, you can bust in those, anytime you want. Bust them out anytime and just escape and fly and all that kind of stuff, and they'll never ever find you. All that. But the rest of the episode is fantastic. You got the stuff with... I'm saying it. Like, the stuff between Kal-El and his mom. Between Superman is wonderful. And also, it's wonderful because, you think about it, a lot of times, I can only count maybe Superman 2, I think. I think it's Superman 2. Where we focus on the mom. We focus on Lara. We always focus on Joel. The father-son dynamic makes sense. But we never kind of visit the other side. We always we understand his relationship with his dad, but we don't know the connection with his mom. And exploring that relationship, something that we haven't seen much of, is kind of welcoming and kind of feels very high. And knowing how the events of this episode goes and the reveals that has happened, it makes it beautifully well done. I got misty-eyed when they had... I got a little bit misty-eyed seeing them two having just a random conversation about, Krypton and you know how great Lois is and talking about the kids and all that. So that was kind of beautifully done. The stuff with the kids, with Sarah kind of freaking out over what happened last episode, and the Kent boys kind of trying to do the whole thing. Do we tell her? How much do we tell her? And they're like, "Fuck it, let's just tell her the whole thing." I was like, "Yep, makes sense." Even though I'm like, yeah, kind of still not telling her the truth, and I'm still calling it end of the season, some point at between next episode. I doubt the next episode, but next episode to the last episode, Sarah's gonna find out about Jordan, and Jonathan might get his powers. Like he's just a, you know, basically one's a late bloomer, and one got them a little bit early, and I have a feeling Sarah's gonna find out at least Jordan has powers, and then by next season she's gonna freak out, kind of have a backseat freak out where she's like, wait, your father's Superman, and you know all that kind of stuff. If she's like F you Jordan, or like welcoming and all that kind of stuff, good, fine, but all that, it's just, we got 4 more episodes left. Wait, we got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, no, 5 episodes left, and it's not a stinker. The show's not a stinker, and it continues not to be, and it is wonderful.